Dark side, dark side. Dark side, dark side. Locking tight. The deaconess is here tonight. Welcome to the dark side. Hope you brought your candle. We're gonna take a ride to a place I think you can handle. Truth hides in the shadows where the stories come alive. Step into the dark side. We're digging deep tonight. Down in Conspiracy Grove, no shiny brick roads, chemtrails, hidden signs, buried truths between the lines, dark origins unfold, fairy tales gone cold, meetings of the minds dissected clean, let the logic cut between. The deaconess is here. Welcome to the dark side. Hope you brought your candle. We're gonna take a ride to a place I think you can handle. Truth hides in the shadows where the stories come alive. Step into the dark side. We're digging deep tonight. Cold War minds and secret files, alien signals stretch for miles, cabbage patch hysteria, mass imagination fever. Every whisper, every claim, ask who profits from the game. Welcome to the rabbit hole where conspiracies grow. Welcome to the dark side. Hope you brought your candle. We're gonna take a ride to a place I think you can handle. Truth hides in the shadows where the stories come alive. Step into the dark side. We're digging deep tonight. Once upon a darker page, fairy tales were not the same. Sleeping Beauty, shadows creep, Cinderella weep, stepsisters bleeding feet. Stories twisted, don't close your eyes. Dark old warnings in disguise. Welcome to the dark side. Hope you brought your candle. We're gonna take a ride to a place I think you can handle. Truth hides in the shadows where the stories come alive. Step into the dark side. The deaconess has arrived. Dark side, dark side. Dark side, dark side. Light your candle, stay a while. We'll wander through the strange tonight. Dark side, dark side.
And pause that right there. Welcome in, everybody, wherever you are. Welcome in. Whether it's morning, noon, or night, or the middle of the night, welcome in. Today we are doing Fridays and Friends in the Library. So it's similar to Conspiracy Grove, but we're going to do something different. So if you haven't been following along, this is my channel. I'm Darkside Deaconess. My platform here on YouTube, or my channel here on this platform, is structured as a fundraising channel. So my fundraising, wait a minute, echo. There's echo? I'm in the middle of my opener and there's echo? To echo. Charles, help me out. Anyways, so instead of conspiracies, and yes, while there may be some touches of conspiracy inside of these topics. Okay, no echo. These are dark origins. So we're going to look at the dark origins of children's stories, lullabies, fairy tales, probably the children's stories like that got moved into the Disney era with princesses and all kinds of things. So this also happens to be one of the areas in which I like to play around. And today we're taking a look at the Pied Piper. And so we are going to, hold on, where'd it go? So I'm going to be using 3 sources. I'm going to be using I think it's Hamelin or Hameln Museum in Germany, which is where the Pied Piper originated. That is where the children went missing, 130 of them. So we're going to use the museum, the Hamelin or Hameln Museum in Germany. It preserves the town's historical artifacts and provides translations of inscriptions. And then the official city of Hamelin's historical overview is there. It summarizes the leading scholarly theories. We've got the Legion of Legends compilations, which assembles the various historical and literary versions into a timeline. And then we're going to look at where these sources agree, so that we can have greater confidence. And then we're going to look at where they differ, and we'll stop and look at why. So I think that the version of this story that most people are familiar with is the rat catcher version of the Pied Piper. So we're going to take a look at the museum first. Oh, is this the museum? Yes, this is the museum. Okay, so let me get this brought up here, because I know when I did the conspiracy theory, I didn't bring the sources up as I was talking about them. So I'm going to go ahead and bring them up while I'm talking about them and go over them with you. Just make sure I get the right ones pulled up at the right time. Okay, so here's my museum. This is from the museum. I'm actually not going to use that layout. I don't like that one. I don't necessarily like that one either. Oh, Lord have mercy. Okay, fine. We're going to use this one because this one I'm perfectly fine with. This layout. Let me go ahead and get rid of that banner at the bottom. And do a chat check. So I've got this pulled up. If you guys want to take a read over it, I'm actually going to read over it with you, but I am going to do a chat check since I just came in here hot and started. So Charles, good to see you. Always good to see you, sir. Common Circles, good to see you, ma'am. Jess White, good to see you. Who else we got in here? Anybody? Oh, look at that. We got Filthy Stetson. Phil coming in hot with the shield. Who else we got in here? I saw something. Okay. Douglas, I think Elrich or Ehrlich. Pied Piper. When will you pay your debt for striking panels? Oh, that's cute. Can somebody take care of Douglas Ehrlich, please? Can somebody take care of Douglas Ehrlich, please? Thank you very much. Moving on. All right, so here in front of us, I have the Pied Piper source pulled up. As you can see up here, this is from the Hamelin. I don't really know how to say it. Museum in Germany, and this is the original legend. So I'm going to stop doing that. I'm just going to read. So the origin of the legend. In the early 16th century, the first concrete evidence for the children's exodus appears. inscriptions found in houses, pictures, and a piece of stained glass. So, just so you know, this is translated from German. So you're going to notice that it's like words might be missing, you think, but it is a translation. This website is in German and I had to switch it to English. So just know that. Okay, so piece of a stained glass and a memorial stone tell of the colorful piper and the lost children. The pictures and the words are astoundingly similar. It is possible that a commonly known four-line rhyme had been in existence since the Middle Ages. You could also read this verse in the picture of the piece of stained glass that disappeared from the market church in 1660. Whether the old glass window had been placed in the church wall soon after this occurrence in 1284. The nobleman from, I don't know how to say that in the correct pronunciation, so I'm just not going to, but Augustin von Morsberg had still seen it in 1592. He copied it down. The oldest pictorial depiction of the Pied Piper comes from him. And in the late Middle Ages, the legend had already been intertwined with the story of the betrayed pest controller. Because in the original Pied Piper legend, there's no rat catcher. The Piper was not a rat catcher in the original story. So this is the version of the Brothers Grimm used when they compiled their collection of German myths and legends. So I looked up this person because I really wanted to see if we had that. Unfortunately, I could not find any evidence of him. I couldn't find a travel journal. I couldn't find the description of the window, and I couldn't find it. So this is where he's mentioned because the earliest evidence that did exist up until I believe the 17th century is when we see that was when I found, sorry, I'm stuttering. It's when I found that it was destroyed because it doesn't exist anymore. So I don't want to overstate the significance, but like it says, like the earliest pictorial depiction of it comes from that. So it's hard to, can somebody take care of Witchy Bishy, please? And anybody else that comes in here with that situation needs to be taken care of immediately when those messages start hitting the chat. Yeah, thank you very much. So the next, let's see. Okay, let's keep looking at that. So guys, I'm not looking at the chat. I'm really trying hard not to look at the chat because I know it's happening. I know what's happening. I'm going to ignore it, and I need my mods to take care of it, please. And thank you. Thank you. I just looked over and saw that it's been taken care of. I appreciate it. Anybody else that comes in here saying anything, out. I can't, I don't want it. Okay. So I'm gonna scroll out here or zoom out. So this is like a model. This is the model of the house. And now I'm all distracted. It's really just ridiculous. So model of the Rattenfanger house, Pied Piper house. So that's the model right there. I thought that this was really neat. Like they have all of the different books that copies of still exist of that depict the Pied Piper. I thought that was really neat. Um, okay, so here, I'm going to zoom in because I can hardly read it, just to be honest. So the Gothic glass window, the oldest source linked to the Pied Piper legend, could be the glass window of um, Markkirk. Yeah, I'll try. Okay, that's about much effort I'm giving that, which has, however, not survived, and that's what we were just talking about. Um, so unfortunately, like we don't even have that piece of evidence to even refer to it. Um, most of the origin, the origin of the story was passed down word of mouth, right? So and we know that that's how things get added in, things get taken out, and then we end up with the modern day tale of the Pied Piper that we have, which we'll eventually get to. So if you don't know the background of the Pied Piper, we'll zoom in again because I'm a blind old lady. So this was the guy, right, that I couldn't find anything on. I couldn't find the journal or anything, but the museum offers us what I can't find and what they have. So Augustin von Morsberg was a baron and knight of the Order of St. John. In the last 2 decades of the 16th century, he traveled across the whole of Europe. In 1592, he visited Hamelin because he had heard of all kinds of adventures in this place. He wished to see and hear for himself what it was all about with the Pied Piper story. He consulted advisors and the clergy. He obtained insight from a Hamelin city book, but most impressive seemed to him to be the many pictures and inscriptions in guest houses and at the city hall, especially a glass picture in I think that's Market Church is what that translates to, as Market Church, I think. So it was the church that was in the middle of the market, or the town, I think. He had this picture copied. The watercolor is the oldest pictorial representation of the Pied Piper, and after the loss of the window, it is the only piece of evidence. So I think it's this. Was it the watercolor? Oh, let me see if I can zoom in. I can zoom in. I can. So I think that this is some of the journal entry, but that's all. Yeah, so the watercolor is the oldest thing that there is. So about the city of Hamelin and the 130 children said to have been lost there. So this is going to be difficult because I think there's some words that couldn't be translated, which is why this is happening. I'm not 100% sure. So okay, so this is, hold on, I'm trying to read fast. Okay, so boarded a ship to this place and rode on the Vesser, I think is what that is, a Vesser, to Hamelin in Westphalia, located at the boundary with Brunswick. I planned to ride there. This is obviously a journal entry. I estimated that the 12 miles by water could be traversed in 3.5 days. Hamelin is a fine city. And I now wished to see. Okay, so this is the writing. Okay, now I see. Now I see. So some of this I'm looking at for the first time with you guys. I did enough research to get these 3 sources narrowed down from like 10. So these ones seem to be the most accurate. Let's see. Pied Piper. Okay. A piper and minstrel wearing a brightly multicolored gown is said to have come to this city. He is said to have caused great marveling with his pipe. In a short time, he led all the rats and mice out of the city and into the river Vesser with his piping. They followed him. He boarded a ship until all had drowned. And in the city, rewarded with a low wage and little recognition. He was offered less than the promised 30 gold dollars and was mocked. I think that's how you say that. Soon thereafter, on a Sunday, when all were at church, he returned, played his pipe again, and then a large number of children followed him who had stayed at home, namely 130 children. So this here, though, we see the mention of the rats and the mice. But if this is the let's see. He visited, obtained insight from the city book. He had the picture copied, and the watercolor is the oldest pictorial, which is this. And then I imagine this is his like journal entry. But down here it mentions the rats and mice. But okay, so I'm going to stop and I'm going to talk to chat, because when I entered into this originally, it said that the rats weren't in the original story. But the oldest evidence, it looks like the oldest evidence that we have points to rats being involved. You guys tell me, from what I've shown you so far. I know I might be bouncing around. I'm learning how to do this, because I think that like I've already looked at a lot of this, so I know a lot of stuff that's already there. But it seems like the earliest depiction, this journal, mentions the rats and mice. Was it a mistranslation? Was that supposed to say something else? And that's how the rats and mice got in? Because I don't know. I don't know. Okay, so let's look at what's next. So we did the museum, got them. If we need to come back to it, we definitely will. The historical overview that comes from the city of Hamelin. So let me pull that one up. So let me change my source real quick. I'm all up here by myself with nothing. Hamelin, Germany. Listen, I have a I don't know how to say that in actual German and make it sound like it's German. Hold on. Okay, historical theories. There we go. I got that pulled up. All right, bring it to the stage. Bring it to the stage. All right, so this is see Rottenfungerstadt. Rottenfungerstadt. Am I saying that right? Rottenfungerstadt. That one's fun to say. Rat catcher. That's what that means, rat catcher. So it almost seems to me that even the city of Hamelin has like accepted the rat part of this. And I don't understand why, because anywhere I looked to show that there were no rats involved, the earliest evidence points to the rats being involved. So I actually have come into this stream to prove that rats weren't involved, but it seems like there were rats involved. or not to prove that rats weren't involved, but to get to the truth, because for some reason I came across a source that said that there were never any rats, but it seems like there were rats. It seems like I've been led astray. I've been led astray. What do you guys think? Do you think we've been led astray? Let's see what's going on. So, thus far, I haven't seen anything that shows that the rats weren't involved from the beginning, because the earliest piece of evidence that is there is showing that there were rats. And the whole city has just accepted it. Okay, so a shred of truth behind a pinch of fantasy. So the truth behind the legend of the Pied Piper, I can't talk, has eluded historians to this very day. It is not without reason that the tale carries the adjunct saga. No one can prove what happened so many years ago, but over 16 historians offer us their explanations, which is the source that I just showed you guys. So I kind of like went backwards. And we can see that many of the interpretations involve the colonization of Eastern Europe that took place during this period. It could be that the children of Hamelin migrated to the east to build new villages, possibly led by a locator or facilitator of migration. In this explanation, the term children is taken to read denizen. Later, the story with the children was joined with the rat tale. This relates to Hamelin being a milling town and the more or less successful rat catchers that may have found employment there, or may have been employed there. So but here it says that this was second. But if the earliest piece of evidence we have shows that rats were involved, which was that journal entry from 1592 or something, 1592. Hold on, let me look at it. 1592. Yeah. Augustin von Morsberg, 1592. That page has been translated. So where did the rats come from? There's conflicting evidence. This is what I like. This is what makes this what makes this fun, because I don't really have like any motivation to like prove this right or wrong. It's just interesting, and then like I don't know if like I could be completely wrong. I could be completely reading this backwards, but it just seems to me that if the earliest piece of evidence states that there were rats in the story to begin with, then why is this story, why later with the rat tail, if the earliest evidence that we have literally translate to the rat catcher was there? So I don't understand. Hey, it's just tomorrow I'll move on to a new topic. It'll be a new dark origin, and the Pied Piper will have passed. That's just how I see this. I hope you guys are having fun. I hope there's not too much chaos going on in the chat. I literally split it closed. So also, if you know anything about this that I don't know, I would be happy to take a look at it. If you have access, there's like a journal site where I can get some stuff for free, but when I put the filter in to content that I can access, it took all of the sources away that were pre 19th century, because in the 1800s, hold on, we'll take a look. I might have to. Okay, yeah. So now we're going to take a look at the Legion of Legends, which is the Pied Piper's like, it's the site where they've got the historical evidence, different books and poetry that have come from this story, art that has come from this story, and then the different theories. So I thought that this was the source that I would save for last, because we can actually walk through all of the different things that bring this story together. So let me go ahead and change my source. One day this is going to be a smoother transition, I promise. I promise. Okay. So let's bring this up to the stage. So the legend and the history of the Pied Piper of Hamelin. So this is obviously, you see, this is the German. It's going to give us the English and the German. I think it's pretty neat. So we've got historical evidence, books and poetry, art for art's sakes, and the theories. So the Pied Piper of Hamelin is the most famous German legend and is the symbol of the city on the, I don't know if you say that with a W like English or a V like English. So Wester, for more than 500 years, or Wesser, I don't know. If you can speak English, tell me if I'm supposed to pronounce that with a V or a W. All right. So here we're going to have the historical evidence. We're also going to have the German translation, or actually it's translated from German to English. So this is the stained glass that we've been referencing, the Pied Piper and all the children. I want to know why 130 children were at home while all their parents were at church. Does anybody else find that to be slightly concerning? Just slightly concerning? Oops, wrong one. Okay, so I was looking at the wrong one. You guys have been looking at the right one. The wrong one. Okay, so the first evidence of the loss of the Hamelin children is the original glass window in the market church. Mounted around 1300, it showed the Pied Piper throning over a number of smaller figures. The lower section of the window was blue, which may have caused some of the stories that the children were lost in water. Adjacent, a reconstruction by Hans Dilberton. So, hold on. Let me get bigger. Sorry. In 1351 and thereafter, the Hamelin Book of Statutes, the Donut, I don't know where to put the emphasis on what, so it just looks like donut to me. Donut. Donut, whatever, contains references to so many years after our children left. These are the notices that attribute to a Hamelin method of dating documents. So we're going to go down here. In about 1384, Deccan Lud of the Hamelin minister is reported to have had a chorus book with a rhymed verse relating to the piper on the cover. Although the book has been lost since 1675, many visitors to Hamelin related its existence. The verse was in Latin and an eyewitness report of the loss of the children. So also, the eyewitness statement is lost. How convenient. The verse was in Latin. Okay. And it's lost. The eyewitness is related or has been said to have been Lude's grandmother. So I don't know if we'll see. Let's see. Can't. Okay. Oh, is that it? Yeah, in the year 1284, on the day of John and Paul, it was the 26th of June, came a colorful piper to Hamelin and led 130 children away to Calvary on the Copan Mountain. So, and that is the phrase that encircled the glass window in the market church and is also quoted in the Lunenburg manuscript from 1430 to 1450. You find it today as an inscription on one of the beams of the Pied Piper's house. So let me go back up to the window. It was around here is where that was. Around the window. Does anybody have any questions? I'll take a look at chat again. Is it safe? All right, how about this? How about I do a chat check? Does anybody have any questions? Does anybody so any questions? Because if you have questions, I can put those questions in and see where we can go. And depending on the time, it's 5 o'clock. Let's do a chat check, like I said. Let's do a chat check. I don't know how far back I should go. Am I right? Okay. Infected mushroom, I see you. See some other people that came in that I don't know if I really need to mention, but thanks for coming in, I guess. I mean, a view is a view, right? Make sure you hit that thumb. Let's see. Cypher. I see Cypher. I see Crucible Crusader. And Shadow _ back one. I guess if you're cool and you follow the instructions given to you by said moderator, you can stick around. So let's see. Which one do I have pulled up? This one. Okay. So we looked at the phrase. Okay. So then we look at the books. So this was the first one. I actually was like, dang, I'd like to find this. So this is actually, I'm going to plug this one in and see if it can you find this? Can you find this? I keep forgetting that I plugged my my mouse in because my stupid touchpad needs to be cleaned with an alcohol swab. Okay, so the name of the work is okay. So let me go. I'm gonna show you guys my my GPT on this. And maybe if you want to follow along, maybe you could grok it. See what grok says. Remember, if you're going to use AI, use multiple. But I'll use GPT. If the viewers want to engage, you look up that on grok and let's see what we get. So Cypher, I came into this under the assumption that the rats were never part of the original story. But all the evidence that we have, the earliest evidence that we have, includes rats. But there's theories that rats were never included, but I can't find any evidence that the rats were not that the rats weren't part of it. Because I think that some people know, some people don't know. Pay the piper. Make good on your promises is the message behind the Pied Piper, because the village of Hamelin, this is the summarized version. The village of Hamelin offered the Pied Piper a certain amount of gold, I think gold coins or whatever, to get rid of the rats. He got rid of the rats by using his bagpipe or pipes or whatever, and took them out into the boat, and he drowned them, and then he came back and asked and tried to collect his earnings. And one theory, I think we're going to get down into the different theories in a second. One theory is that they didn't give him anything, and one theory is they didn't give him what they had promised him prior to doing the job. So paying the piper means that if you offer somebody money to do something, you should make good on that. However, we don't know if it's still, I think from what I'm seeing so far, I would lean in the direction of the rats were always a part of the story, because the only versions that we have where the rats didn't exist at this point are oral. So they've been handed down orally, and anything that was written down is gone. So even the eyewitness testimony or the statement has been is destroyed. It's gone, right? So how convenient that that is gone, but there's no evidence that the rats didn't exist. So that's kind of where I'm stuck. That there's no evidence that the rats weren't there. There's more evidence that the rats were there than not. So let's keep going. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. I said I was going to show you my GPT. Show you my GPT. Okay. So this guy. Okay, so the guy that wrote in 1556, Jobus Vincelius, writes that the piper was the devil himself. So this says the claim is well documented, and it's actually one of the most interesting developments in the evolution of the legend, and it's about 318 years after the event, because I think the event happened in 1338 or 1238. Excuse me, 1238, I believe. So the source, Jobus Vincelius, De Miraculis Sui Temporis, concerning the wonders of his times, 1556, was a German humanist and physician. His book contains the oldest known printed version of the Pied Piper story, and he explicitly interprets the piper as the devil in human form. Wait a minute. Okay, so because we don't have, hold on, 1556. This is before Augustin von Morsberg, because Augustin von Morsberg, what, that was in 1592. So that was the painting, the watercolor painting. So 36 years later, 36 years prior to Augustin von Morsberg. So actually this is, okay. Hold on. So this one, this translates it. Okay, here, this right here. Of the devil's power and wickedness will I hear tell a true story. About 180 years ago, the devil went about the streets visibly in human form, piped and allured many children, boys and girls, and led them through the town gate towards a mountain. When he arrived there, he disappeared with the numerous children who had followed him. So that's a translation, not the original Latin or German. Let's see. It's not evidence that everyone believed that the piper was the devil. He interpreted what happened through a Christian theological lens. And says here that he cited the, so I would, man, it would be really great if the town book still existed. So yeah, that's, all right, there's that one. So, hi, Dennison. Hope everybody's behaving over there. Now I'm going to close the comment panel again. Okay, so we stopped at that because I got super distracted by someone writing that the piper was the devil himself, which I could see. I could see, looking through a Christian lens, how that could be interpreted as something of the devil. It's music used to lure and or seduce the children out of the town. So he was doing something that was not, he was taking them away from everything, basically kidnapping them. But the music made them okay with it, right? So if that there, that's a whole nother topic. But yeah, I could understand how that it could be interpreted like that through a Christian lens. So let me pull back up my other one, because I forgot I wasn't sharing it. This one? Nope. Okay. This one. Okay, so von Zimmern presents the first book that relates the story of rats and children. So 9 years later. But hold on, and dude, I'm so confused now. I'm glad I'm confused in front of you guys. Okay, so 1565 is the first book that relates the story of the rats. Von Morsberg happened in 1592. Okay. Okay. So that would make sense. That would make sense. But why does this say that this is the earliest known evidence? The museum, I don't know. I know I didn't read that incorrectly. The earliest known evidence. Hold on. Oh, the watercolor is the oldest pictorial representation. And then there was the journey. So it would make sense that if the story had already been written by the time von Morsberg got to Hamelin, that he too would incorporate the story of the rats. But this is the earliest known writing where he was depicted as the devil. And then there's here, 9 years later, where now we introduced a rat catcher or rats, and now the Piper is a rat catcher. Then there, so these are all Brooks. These are all the books. And then in 1816 we get the Grimm version, right? And then this is obviously the most famous version here in the English speaking world. So that takes us through the books. And then this is, again, this is the most repeated one. And this is the one that we all know. There's some art. Obviously, this was the watercolor that von Morsberg painted. My screen is blank? Huh. Listen. Thank you so much. Because I do this thing where I forget to add it to the stage. That's the first time I've done it today. So my bad. Let me go back up here and go through these books with you because I'm rude. I'm so rude. Okay, anyways. So the books. So the progression of the book. So 1556, the oldest known writing depicts the Piper as the devil himself. So, and this is the oldest known writing. And then we have von Zimmern's that introduces the story of the rats 9 years later after Fincelius. And then in 1592, so I was confused about why von Morsberg was mentioning the rats if there was no mention of the rats prior to that. However, in 1565 is when the rats made their way into the story, because in the earliest known writing, the rats aren't there. And then, yeah, so then that one, and then this book, and then in 1816, the Grimm version. And then in 1849, this is the most reprinted version, the poem. So yeah. And then this is the art. So this is the watercolor painted by von Morsberg. It's the earliest known pictorial evidence. So that's this right here. And then you have so many more writing music. An opera, another opera, a lot of different types of art, not just visual art. Let's see, 1934. Magda Fisher's Pied Piper show runs from the 1st of April until the 1st of October on Mondays and Wednesdays. That's neat. This stuff will be all really neat to look into further and further, which is something that I don't do on my streams. I don't do like super deep dives. It would take up my whole life. And I'm just not that dedicated. It is a hobby. But it's more like I learn some stuff about like this topic right here, and then I'll move on to the rest. However, when the stream is over, these 3 sources will be in the description of the video. So you have the opportunity to take these and look at them and go further if you want to look at the Flash comics, right? Like I know I got some nerds in my chat. So New Chimes and Clockwork. Lots of the musical Rats in 2000. That would be a fun one to look up and watch. All right, so now we're going to look at the theories. So certainly everyone knew exactly what happened in 1284. This couldn't be more sarcastic because obviously nobody knows exactly what happened in 1284. However, the situation was tragic and the loss is unforgotten, right? So the glass window in the market church was a reminder of a warning. Due to negligence or by design, the tale was changed around 1500 to a mythical, magical legend, and only the historians know for certain what happened. Depending on which ones you ask, these are the answers that you get. Fincelius writes that the piper was the devil himself. Von Zimmern adds the rats to the story for the first time. Werner Uffing, Werner Metzger conclude that the Hamelin children had the Black Plague and had to be let out of town. There's some relation. It might say it down here. Let's look if it does. Okay, because there's some theories that lead towards the Children's Crusades. So if it doesn't say it under the theories here, that is also something that I would suggest looking into if you're going to further look into this story. Gottfried Leibniz, I can't say German words. It's ridiculous. My mouth is not formed. It's not made to say these words. Explain that the children took part in a crusade to the Holy Land. There it is. The children's crusade. Look, it was the next one. Huh. So there's that one. Johannes Letzner related in the Corvée Chronic that the youths were afflicted with the dancing disease, known today as Sydenham's chorea, and were led away to protect the populace. I don't even know what that is. Okay, now I have to, because I need to know what this is. Does anybody, look, I'll do a chat check even as long as everybody's behaving. I hate looking at chat when things are happening. Let's see. Thank you for the share, Shadow. Yeah, absolutely. 100%. That's my whole thing. Like, I don't come into, like, even Conspiracy Grove, like, I don't come in here telling you guys, like, I know what happened and I'm gonna tell you the truth. No, I don't do that. Like, I show you what I have looked into, like my what I've done. I'm not going to dedicate my life to this stuff. Like, that's how people go crazy. You know, like Candace Owens. Have you seen her lately? Like, I'm not trying to get to that level. I'm trying to live my life and have a hobby, not something that controls my life and I can't even think realistically anymore. So Filthy Phil's over here speaking Deutsch. Können Sie sprechen Sie Deutsch? Do you speak English? Or do you speak German? Sprechen Sie Deutsch? Is that how you say it? Do you speak German? Anyways, so absolutely everyone should always do their own research. Don't ever take anybody else's research at face value. Look into it yourself. Obviously, I have been back and forth with this topic because some of this I'm actually looking into for the first time with you guys. And I think that makes it fun. You get to see my like real-time reactions when I'm like, wait a minute, did I miss something? Like, this is my research process. And there's nothing wrong with using AI. Nothing at all. You could use Google Gemini, Grok, GPT simultaneously, same topics. Look at all of the sources that those 3 AIs throw up to you. I suggest telling it not to give you Reddit threads. Um, you can prompt the AI to not give you the bullshit, just so everybody knows. Like you literally can tell it to only give you historical sources, academic sources, um, things like that, and not Reddit posts. It's really easy. All you have to do is type it out. So um, there's that. No, Phil, the apples are on the next bus. All right, so let's do a chat check here. Do a little pause here. Said, yeah, it's all annoying, especially when they're condescending and they say, you need to understand. Yeah, it is. Like, okay, source. Where is your source? I just got a hunch. No, I don't need your hunch, which leads me into probably the next one that we'll look into, which is the Hunchback of Notre Dame. I've already done quite a bit of research on that. I was going to make my first Dark Origins show that. But I actually want to do a little bit more research into that. I'm trying to get through the book. It's difficult. I'm listening and reading at the same time, and I'm really trying to get through that book. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and what it is good for is it's good for condensing sources. So I mean, you used to go into a library, right? Like the one behind me. It's my magical library, mystical magical library. It's where all my dreams come to life. Um, um, but what was the hell? Shit. Oh, Encyclopedia Britannica, right? When I was a kid, Encyclopedia Britannica, because the freaking internet didn't exist when I was little, you know? So we actually had to read books and we had to read pages and pages and pages. I mean, you can go to the library now and you can probably still get the micro oh, what are they called? The mic shoot. Somebody finish my sentence. The micro images, like the I'm having an old lady brain fart. Somebody help me out. Yeah, so you really like I would have to be sitting I would have to be sitting in the library. Microfilm. Thank you so much, Cypher. Oh, you guys come through. Yes. Yeah, and Shadowback says, yeah, back in the day, you would have to sort through an index, and it took forever. Was really cool though is like you could get those images. Um, really, really cool. Thank you. Did you send me stuff in Discord? Or did you send it in the chat? Because I honestly I haven't been paying attention to the chat because I know what's happening. So I really can't pay any attention to it. Um, lest I, you know, lest I respond to it. So anyways, yeah, so microfilm. So encyclopedia not just Encyclopedia Britannica, but like the microfilms, or microfilms would give you the images of the original documents. And I mean, if I was that into it, that's the route that I would probably take. But what we're seeing here, even in these sources that I have, one is from the Hamelin Museum, one is from the city of Hamelin, and then the other one is a collection that was put together by over oh yeah, I forgot we were looking at this one. Over 16 historians came together and compiled this document that we have in front of us, and nobody has mentioned that obviously there would be such a microfilm. I guess you could go looking for it. If you're in Germany, that's probably where you most likely find it. But again, no evidence of that yet. So I think I said I was going to do a chat check, but I don't think anybody else. Everybody's good. Yep. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm. I think that person follows me, Shadow, but I don't even know who they are. I appreciate their follow. I just don't even know who they are. If they do educational streams, I would love that. I don't for the people that have been following me since I began building up my channel um towards the end of May. I don't tell people the truth because I don't know the truth. I pretty much do my own research, and obviously, as you see here, some of the research I'll do on the stream. Like I'll click those links and go to the uh, the the secondary sources, right? Um, and and in that way it allows people to develop their own opinion on the topic, right? So at the end of the stream, when I'm done, I'm getting it all ready, I'll drop the sources in the description of the video, and you guys can click those and you can go from there. It allows you to look into it just the same way I did. I share the information, I will share my interpretation, but as you can tell, like, it's not it's not like I'm going to sit here and be like, nah, you're wrong, your interpretation is wrong, because that's just not something I honestly am going to put energy into. We don't know we don't know, because we don't have evidence beyond a certain point. The earliest written evidence of this story that we have is the depiction of the Pied Piper as the devil, and there's no mention of rats. But that's the earliest depiction, and then the next depiction, the pictorial depiction we have, doesn't come along until 1592. And I believe if we look back at this source, oh, let's go back up to the book, because I'm forgetting the dates is all. I think it was 1556 or 1565. Yeah, 50. Yeah. So 1556, he writes the book, and in the book describes the piper as the devil who led the children off. And then in 1565 comes what is the earliest written evidence of when the rats come into play, and then so on. So we'll go back down to these theories. Sorry if I'm bugging anybody's eyes by scrolling too fast. Okay. Oh, yes, I wanted to look this up. How the hell did I get here? Because I got distracted by chat. All right. I need to know what the heck this disease is. No, that's not what I want to do. Again, I keep forgetting that my mouse is plugged in and I can just use my mouse instead of my touchpad. Lord have mercy. That's not what I want. Okay, so let's look at this Sydenham or whatever. Coria. Oh, wow. Okay, so Sydenham chorea is a neurological disorder that occurs as a delayed autoimmune complication of infection with group A streptococcal pharyngitis, strep throat. It is one of the major manifestations of acute rheumatic fever. Oh, wow. Dang, if a kid gets this, 3 to 6 months is the average recovery time, although some systems can persist for a year or longer. Wow. I wonder if it's Because you can get scarlet fever as well from strep throat. Panchuchun, what are we talking about? Um, what's what's going on in my chat, man? Like, are they being taken care of is all I'm concerned about. Oh, yeah, okay. Mm-hmm. Who's the mod who kicked who? Who got kicked that shouldn't have? God, I hate this is so stupid. Like, can we be grown-ups? Hmm. Is everybody good? It's ridiculous. Lord have mercy. Okay, so this is happens from strep throat. Okay. I mean, sounds legit. I mean, it sounds like it could have been the thing, right? They didn't know what it was. Known today as Sydenham's chorea. We're talking about 1284, wasn't it? 1284 that this happened in. So the 13th century, the end of the 13th century. They had no idea what may have been wrong with them. Okay, and he gives a reason for the dancing sickness. He thinks. But we know today, well, they think that's what affected them. I wonder what evidence they have that leads them to believe that the children, I don't know. That's a again, that's another thing to dive into to see how they would know. Um and then there's another theory obviously on how they got it. The dancing sickness. It makes you clumsy, right? So it's neurological. It creates an imbalance in the your oh shit, I'm having a brain fart now again. Yeah, so you're clumsy and you're kind of stumbling all over where maybe you look like you're dancing but you're not, and you might spin a little bit because again you're off kilter. Vertigo, like some vertigo. um and then we have this one. Wilhelm Rayab, I think that's how you say, quoted Christian finds older theory that the youth of the Hamelin were lost at the Battle of Sedenmunder in 1260. This was the accepted historical version until 1951. Huh. But, oh, wait a minute. Huh? In the year of 1284. This one puts it at, okay, so then the version that was accepted until 1951 was that the children were lost at this battle, however you say that, in 1260. But then more evidence, obviously, looks like, I can say obviously, but we can connect that some evidence came up some historians looked some things up, um, and the story changed. We were given a new version with new evidence. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of the group sank in the Baltic Sea. Excuse me. A bridge collapse. Oh yeah, they went to this one, the Grimm's story, that they were tunneled to Transylvania. This one, I bet this one's interesting to read. So, Romanian professor emeritus at Boston College and author of books on Dracula and Frankenstein purports that Vlad destroyed the village of Heimlich on August 24th, 1460. This would mean Dracula kills the descendants of the Hamelin children 176 years later. Why? Because they tunneled into Transylvania? Where'd that one go? Oh, yeah, because they tunneled into Transylvania. A landslide. Okay, so then this goes on to validate this. Yeah, the kids just left and they went to Uckermark, the Uckermark area of Germany north. They just decided to go away, just walked off with, I don't know. Bonfire. That's a new one. Obviously, very new theory. Some of these don't have years attached to them, but I'm sure that if you take the source and you plug it in to whatever finder, source finder you want to do, look at, I'm sure that it'll give you estimated years or precise years. So, yeah. So that brings us to the conclusion, actually, of said evidence. I like the different stories of Vlad. Folklore is interesting. Folklore is interesting. Conspiracy theories are interesting, and I don't know. I guess in one story, like how many stories? That could be a whole nother one, like the dark origin of Dracula. I mean, isn't he already dark? The origin is dark. But the origin isn't. I mean, it is kind of dark. I don't know. We can look into it because that's another one. I watched quite a few other YouTube videos on that one. Panchuchin says no. So, question. Hey, are mods keeping count of how many people got timed out? All right. Thank you so much, Cypher, for participating and hanging out. Or yeah, you did participate a little bit. It is 5:49 my time, Eastern Standard Time. I need to check on a few things here. Welcome in. I'm actually almost finished. So it's a short stream today. It will be up to be rewatched. All of the sources that I used will be put. I only used 3. I actually cut it down from like 10 because I'm just going to be honest, like some of the other sources were super inconsistent with themselves. So I used three main sources for the stream today. The links for those sources will be dropped in the video description once the video is uploaded to YouTube. I don't think it's a good idea to do an open panel today, just because I don't want to deal with individuals clicking the link. And coming up here and causing issues. So we're just going to leave it like this. Any questions? Any questions at all? Any additions? I know somebody sent me some stuff, but I don't have my Discord pulled up. So yeah, lots of stuffs. Let's see. Okay. Yeah. We got it. All right. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's it. So today, look, nobody, are you serious, you guys? Do you see this? What's ticking up over my head? How could you guys did not tell me that it was that one that just kept ticking? Just kept ticking. It just kept ticking. Has anybody got any big plans for tonight? Any big plans for tonight? I may be going to my parents. It's gonna happen sometime this week because my son's birthday just passed, and just have to figure out a time that works for everybody. So it's either gonna be tonight, maybe tomorrow, because I have. If I do it tomorrow, can't be tired yet. If I do it tomorrow, it's gonna have to be like an early afternoon. I'll have to move the time of Conspiracy Grove. Or no, I would have to do it early in the afternoon so that I can do Conspiracy Grove. Or it's going to be Sunday. So let's see. There was no grifting in this stream. And there was no grifting in this stream, or I shouldn't even say grifting. There were no requests for donations. I do run this channel like a fundraiser. And I run the channel like a fundraiser because of the situation that I'm in. And this little thing right here, this little QR code right there, will give you a little more insight into that. If anybody has any questions after reading the story that is in the GoFundMe, Phil, will you actually drop? No, don't. Never mind. Don't drop them. I'm fine not dropping them. So this is the GoFundMe QR code. I have a neurological disorder. I have epilepsy. I have what's called refractory idiopathic generalized epilepsy. And for whatever reason, it could be the fact that I am in my mid 40s and I am experiencing what most or all women experience around this time in their life, that it could just be doing its thing, right? Because my epilepsy is triggered by not emotional, but hormonal changes, infections, viruses can lower my threshold for seizures because it lowers my immune system. Waking up in the morning happens to be like the biggest trigger that I have for seizures. So make jokes about that as you will. But I spend about 3 to 4 hours. I've been doing like 2.5 to 3 recently because I think I'm okay. So I'm like 2.5 to 3 hours, sometimes 4 I spend in my bed, depending on how I feel. If I feel extremely disoriented, then when I wake up, I'll stay in bed for longer. But I do that because my last ambulatory EEG, so my last diagnostic, was done in April or March or April, and it showed what are called spike wave discharges that are happening. My epilepsy is in the front. It's here. This is where it starts. This is where it originates, and it fires on both sides, affecting emotional regulation, memory, cognition, lots of different things that happen up here. So that ambulatory EEG revealed spike wave discharges that I was not recognizing symptoms of, or I would stare off for 3 seconds, because they were lasting 3 to 4 seconds, and I wasn't realizing it because I wasn't realizing that I was missing time. So, if you can imagine, I'll walk you through what a spike wave discharge does when it doesn't result in a tonic-clonic seizure, which is like people, they fall down, they shake on the ground. I've done that lots and lots and lots. But close your eyes and count to 3 or 4, whatever. Now imagine yourself driving down the road, or imagine yourself doing anything, walking down the hallway. That's what happens to me, but I'm still going. I'm just not there for about 3 to 4 seconds. So, wasn't noticing those when they were occurring because I did not write them in the journal that I had to keep while I was at home with this EEG cap on my head. So, doctor says can't work early mornings because, well, I have to wait. So if I wake up at 6 o'clock, I have to wait until about 9 or 10 o'clock to even determine whether or not I can work that day. Right. So that, or the either early or get up, adjusting sleep schedule for said reasons. Yes. Welcome to my TED Talk about my epilepsy and why this channel is here, why this channel was developed, why I'm doing this. That GoFundMe QR code used to be the only way that you could donate money, even when I first started. And then I got the Stream Elements link. That was the only one I had. And the GoFundMe came before the channel. And I'm the type of individual that likes to earn money, not have it handed to me. So I figured, I've asked people that are around me that are streamers and that watch streamers, can you guys share this for me? This is something that's going on in my life. I have an upcoming hospital stay in the middle of August where I will be there minimum 3 days. Maximum is as long as it takes them to get what they need. So I don't even know how long I'll actually be there. But the minimum is 3 days. Where I will be video monitored, like while I'm sleeping, like everything. Obviously not when I go to the bathroom, but in my room, I will be monitored. I'll have the cap on. I'll be monitoring my neurological pathway, my function, and looking for those spike wave discharges and what triggers them. Because life is a trigger for the type of epilepsy that I have. For many different types of epilepsy, life circumstances can be a trigger. I can get excited and when I get like super excited and happy and shit, like my threshold for seizures is lowered in that instance. I'll have this medical magnet because I have a medical magnet. You can't see it. I'll talk about this. This is a medical magnet. I have a device that is in my chest that goes off on its own. It's going off right now, probably because I brought the magnet close to my chest. That activates my device, but my device activates itself every 5 minutes for 30 seconds. That activates it and it'll go off for a full 60 seconds at a higher megahertz than it does when I'm not swiping the magnet over it. So whenever I get super excited, if I love amusement parks, if I go on a roller coaster, take my handy dandy magnet with me, and the whole time I'm on the roller coaster having an amazing time, I'm swiping my magnet. Oops. And I'm just keeping it, I'm keeping that thing sending the signal. Like I needed to send the signal so that I can live a normal life. But now I'm having symptoms that I'm missing symptoms. So that's the big thing. When you're driving down the highway on a 3-lane highway, and the last thing you remembered was driving in the center lane, and you don't remember getting into the right lane. You don't recall turning your turn signal on, nothing. That's scary. So I try not to drive I only drive as much as I need to. Grocery store is like 3-minute drive down the road. I have a pending application for a job that would be work from home, which would be great, which would take me away from this, but full-time job would be great. So I don't have to fundraise so that I can take care of myself, because honestly, it's you guys that are taking care of me. You join me here. You sit through these streams with me here. And and you support the streams financially, some of you. And all of the different types of support are sincerely appreciated. My children are grown. My oldest, my son, he still lives with me. He pays his half of the bills, and I pay my half. I'm not doing this to take care of kids. Like that's my kids are grown. My son has a job and pays his portion of the bills. I don't have to pay his portion of the bills. I have to take care of myself. And so while I go through this process of trying to figure out what the progression is with my epilepsy, what's going on, how is it, what's it doing? Just what the hell is it doing? Then we could get a better idea of how to move forward. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to remove the GoFundMe QR code, but that GoFundMe was prior to this. This channel was to work for the funding that I was requesting, because I don't like feeling like I'm begging for money and just doing nothing, but not something I wanted to do. So I guess with that, I know this has been a relatively short stream comparably, but no panel today. Panels are gonna, I think panels, open panels are gonna be not a thing. I don't know that I see anybody in chat that, yeah, I don't know. I guess this is a little bit awkward, the sending of this video, just because I want everybody to understand why I do this. I'm very transparent. If anybody has any questions, I absolutely will answer them. I'm doing this because my well-being depends on it. And I put a lot of work into it. I spend hours and hours and hours developing content, developing visuals to go along with that content. All of the shows that I have developed, I haven't been looking at anybody else's stuff to develop my own stuff. I am naturally into curiosities. I love the curious corners of things. That's why my channel is literally the curious corner of the internet. I am a curious person, and if I can venture into my curiosities and take you guys along with me, then that's what I'll do. You give me some social interaction when the panels are going. I feel like I'm talking to myself, but I know that I'm talking to you guys. So my creative streams, that's because that's also one of my outlets. You know, I like to create, I like to write lyrics, and what better way to have somebody, you know, there watching me rather than being alone. Like, I'm very transparent about why I do this. It's hard to be isolated. It's hard to be isolated, especially the isolation. Like, I could go against it. I could go out there and do all the things and put myself and other people at risk, but I choose not to. And that's why I'm here with you guys. So I do hope that all of you keep coming back for the right reasons and not the wrong reasons. And Maud's good job today. I had a feeling that was going to happen. So I appreciate every single one of you. But being able to hide that panel really helped. And looking at my sources also really helped. You might find that I edit out a little bit of this video, or maybe not. Maybe I'll just leave it here for everybody to see. So, as with any other dark side stream, we cannot end it without the weirdo theme. And I learned, check this out, I learned that I don't even have to share my Suno anymore. That I can upload music into freaking StreamYard. Hello. Why did not somebody tell me this? So, from one weirdo to the rest, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, fuck off. Hello?
the rules, then I laugh
Hi.
where I land. If I fit in, I choke.
No.
If I don't, I breathe. I was made for the glitch, not the box that they give me.